Next funny anecdote from the world of music. I'm just back from a run and I listen to podcasts about music. All right. On the run, ran into Emily. She was rushing for the train. She destroyed my time because she said, I'm in a hurry. And I said, don't worry, I'll sort of walk quickly beside you, which killed my time. What are you going to do? You know, what's more important? My time. Just kidding. Anyway, the extent to which composers and probably rock stars and everything get together, you know. Okay, a dinner. I don't know where it was. Let me think. Might have been at Grieg's place, Edvard Grieg, the composer from, where is he from? Finland? Finland, or is that Sibelius? Yeah, he's Swedish, I think. I don't know what he is, Danish. Anyway, he's Scandinavian, but had Tchaikovsky over for dinner. Now, Tchaikovsky hates Brahms. No, look, I think they were somewhere else because Grieg got there late. All right. So anyway, Tchaikovsky and Brahms ended up at dinner together. Now, Tchaikovsky couldn't stand Brahms, thought his music was shit, and thought the man was blotchy and a boozer. It takes one to know one, my podcast has said, because Tchaikovsky was just a drunk, you know, and a pedophile too, and a lot of other things. I can separate the man from the music when it comes to Wagner. I'm struggling with Tchaikovsky. Anyway, so let's just leave that one alone. But yeah, I can't listen to that Romeo and Juliet love section anymore, I don't think, because now I know that it was written for a 14, 15-year-old boy that he was in love with, Tchaikovsky, had an affair with, all that stuff, and then committed suicide at 19. What the hell? How can you listen to that again? Oh, it's hard to separate the man from the music when it comes to that sort of stuff. Now, Wagner, you know, technically, oh God, my neighbour's coming, and you'll wonder what I'm doing. Who cares? I can, you know, if I was a Jew, you know, because he was an anti-Semite, I could, if I was going to the ring cycle, I reckon I could do it. I could say to myself, I'll separate the man from the music. I'll pretend even though I'm a Jew, I'll pretend I'm an Aryan, just to, you know, because otherwise I'm going to miss out on all this good stuff. I could do that, and I'll just pretend, that I'm Aryan, and the nasty little Jewish characters, the golems and all that sort of stuff, I'll hate them as well. I could separate myself. With Tchaikovsky, a little bit harder. Anyway, they're all out to dinner, and Tchaikovsky and Brahms were seated such that there was a seat in between. And somehow, Edvard Grieg turned up, and his wife took the seat in between, but she became uncomfortable, and then she eventually, soon enough, she exclaimed, "I can't sit here. The tension is horrible. I can't sit between these two." And actually, he said it. And Brahms and Tchaikovsky didn't care. So she got up, and Edvard Grieg himself said, "I'll sit. I've got the courage," he said. He sat there. So you got these three famous composers. I used to buy CDs and all that sort of stuff. Oh, that's Grieg, that's Tchaikovsky, that's Brahms or whatever. I've got just about every CD, classical CD you can imagine. Listened to about half of them so far. But anyway, you don't think of them all sitting together, And then, anyway, they're all sitting there, and it was all right, At least Grieg was in between the two guys, Brahms and Tchaikovsky. And then Brahms apparently grabbed the jam and he said, "This is all mine, you don't get any." To the rest of them, it's childish. Never get to know your heroes. And that applies especially to Tchaikovsky, I wish I didn't know so much about him now. It's kind of wrecked things. Let me think about that. Look, my podcaster, the guy that spoke to me on the run just now, he said, look, you can't understand Tchaikovsky's music unless you get to know all this pornographic stuff. He said, I don't like talking about it. It's disgusting. But you have to know about it or you won't understand the music. Well, here's my thought on that. I disagree. And I'm not even a musicologist. I'm a nothing. My podcaster, he's well connected and a composer himself, so he should know, shouldn't he? Well, no, not necessarily. You don't have to know a lot about something to have a comment. I know nothing about the law, but I often have a comment about it. Now let me think about this. No, look, with someone like Wagner, yes. I feel it was really valuable to get to know him because the man was in the music. He had a god complex and all that sort of stuff, Aryan fantasy and all that sort of stuff. Wagner had a baby and he called it Hitler, all that sort of stuff. And it really brings Wagner's music to life for me, knowing all that stuff, And then he was a desperate anti-Semite and all that sort of stuff, and just hated the Jews, and then married Liszt's daughter, who was even more anti-Semitic and probably made him worse, But with Tchaikovsky, I would rather, even though I don't care if it's deeply autobiographical, Tchaikovsky's music, I would rather not have known. I would rather all his letters and all that sort of stuff and everything about him had been burned, and we had just inherited all this music and didn't even know what what was behind it, his life story, his lifetime of preying, Preying, he's a predator on 14 and 15-year-old boys. I'd rather not know that and just grab the music, and then I could listen to all this wonderful music like Romeo and Juliet, the love scene, and I don't need and I can put my own meaning into it. I don't want to know his story. Well, a case for censorship. I always leave my podcasts, my YouTube thingies open. I've got no. I don't make judgments. Now, I'm telling you what I think though.